Hi everyone, good evening, Fiyoklunganon, Assalamualaikum and magandang gabi sa lahat. Guys, sorry sa late upload, lalo na po sa iyo ate, sorry sa aking late upload. Wala kasi akong magamit, joke lang. Basta, sorry lang talaga. And, okay, tuloy ko ang His Runaway Wife, Chapter 18. Chapter 18 pa lang. Damian and I didn't have sex until we got married. Aaron always liked to make fun of me by saying that was the reason why he asked me to marry him so soon. But it was never like that. My mom always valued abstinence from sex until marriage, so that's how I was raised. When I began college, I knew I had a choice of losing my virginity if I wanted to. My mom had done her job by teaching me her values, and as an adult, it was my choice whether I wanted to follow them or not. I didn't really decide, it just never really happened with anyone. I was busy with school and I didn't meet a guy I really wanted to do it with until I met Damian. The thing was that I knew he was the right guy for me, and I decided I wanted to wait because I wanted a good, innocent relationship with him. He respected me and never suggested that we did anything. It was like he knew that I wanted to wait for marriage. When Damian and I first made love in our honeymoon, I wondered how I had gone my whole life without him. That night, on our first round of many, I felt the exact same way. It was a weird thing to feel the exact same way I felt when I lost my virginity. Damian was so gentle, just how I remembered him to be. I stared at the window as I thought about our love making all night. We barely even had any sleep. I think we broke some kind of record, and I still felt like I didn't have enough of him. How was this possible? Now I was more sure that I could not live without him anymore. I did not want to. I want you to stay. I remembered his words from last night. He wanted me to stay despite all the pain I caused him. He still wanted me. I felt him stir next to me, and then he put his arm around my waist and pulled me towards him. I felt his lips against the back of my head. I smiled as I stared at the bright sunlight coming through the window. Would it work? Though, if I stayed, would it work? I was scared to come back and then anything going back to the way it was before I left. I didn't want to go back to that life again. I didn't want to be Marianne's victim. And Marianne, I had not even thought about how she would react when she learned that I came back to her house, or Damian's life for that matter. I was sure that she had been the happiest woman alive when she found out that I had left, and even more happy when I didn't come back day after day. "Good morning," Damian mumbled behind me. I half smiled. "How did you know I was awake?" He extended his palms against my bare stomach. "You're breathing." Sorry. "Wow," I smiled, very observant. His arm tightened around me, always. We laid in silence for a moment, just enjoying each other's company. I loved feeling his body against mine. It was the best feeling in the world. I had forgotten that. I didn't have to say goodbye to this feeling. Damian wanted me to stay. I could stay, yet. "Do you forgive me?" I asked him, breaking the silence. He half. "Forgive you for what?" I turned around so I was facing him. "For leaving," I said as I looked into his brown eyes. "Do you forgive me for leaving?" He burrowed his eyebrows together. "Rebecca, answer me," I interrupted. "Please, I need to know." He looked at me. I have nothing to forgive you for. I am to blame. Yes, you do, I gulped. Damian, I was selfish. It's okay to admit it. I hurt you, so I want to apologize to you for running away. I know that I made a mistake. I was selfish and I should not have done that. I'm so sorry. His face softened. Rebecca, Damian, I interrupted again. I smiled, playing on my lips. Stop trying to justify my actions. What I did was wrong. So do you forgive me? He half smiled as he reached out and put a strand of hair behind my ear. If you insist. I smiled. I do. Of course I forgive you, he said. Do you forgive me for being a shitty husband? I shook my head. You were not. He traced my lower lip with his thumb as he looked into my eyes. I neglected you, he said. There was sadness in his voice. I placed my palm on his cheek. It's in the past now. He half smiled. Does that mean that you are staying? I bit my lower lip. I do have to go back to Nevada, I said slowly. Damian clenched his jaw. I was afraid you were going to say that. I'm sorry, I said. It's just Alexa only has a few weeks of school left. She already has her prom dress and she graduating in May. It will not be fair to make her move. I want to do things right this time. I'll need to sell the house, quit my job. I trailed off, thinking about how this was going to take a lot more work and time than anticipated. I'll come with you. I half smiled as I looked up at him. Damian, I appreciated that, but it's not necessary. Besides, I'm pretty sure you can't leave the clinic alone for 2 months. He hesitated. I could not tell. He didn't like the idea of me going back at all. He seemed distressed as he sat up on the bed, leaning against the bed rest. He was shirtless and his hair was messy on top of his head. I pressed the white sheet against my chest as I sat up as well. I looked down at the floor but didn't see my clothes anywhere. Damian, I said, so he will look at me. I know that it's not easy to trust me, but if we were going to do this, then I'm going to need you to trust me, I said slowly. He nodded. I know, I just hate that we have to be apart. I smiled. I know, but it'd be worth it. He reached out to kiss me. I do want you to have something, he said, pulling away. What? I asked suspiciously. He pecked my lips and then got out of the bed. I watched as he walked into the closet. Damian, I called from the bed. He came back with something in his hand and sat back down next to me. He looked at me. I want you to have this back, he said as he took out my silver wedding ring from the box. Sounds to me like you want to mark your territory, I teased him. I was flattered that he had kept my ring and even more flattered that he wanted me to have it back. Looking at it again made me think back to the night I took it off and left it on the nightstand next to Damian's side of the bed. That was the only thing I left him. I thought nothing else needed to be said. That's because I am, he said with a smile on as he reached, wait lang, for my left hand. He slid in the ring without a problem, then brought it up to his lips and he kissed it. I want everyone to know that you are my wife. I smiled down at the ring. Okay, Mr. Walker. He reached out and placed his hands under my chin and pulled it up so I would look at him. I'm serious, Rebecca. He took a deep breath. I'm scared of losing you again. I bit my lip, then put my arms around his neck and pressed myself closer to him in an embrace. That's my fault. I'm sorry. I pulled back enough to look at him, but you're not Damian. Not because of a ring, but because I love you and I want to be with you. I felt heat running up my cheek. Why was it embarrassing to declare my love to my husband? There was a smile on his lips. Okay, but it still helped you keep your ring on. I laughed. Okay, then I'll have some explaining to do to my coworkers though, I said as I looked down at the ring. It had a beautiful diamond in the middle with tiny ones to the sides. I will have some explaining to do to Julian. Oh, Julian, what was I thinking when I started dating him? I never should have. Now I had an awkward conversation coming with him. You put yours too, I told him. He smiled as he reached inside the box. Whatever you say. My smile faded a little. I wanted to ask you something, I said slowly as he put on the silver wedding band on his fourth finger. What is it? He asked, looking up at me. I hesitated. Yesterday you said that you were tempted to be with Karen. I looked up at him. How tempted were you? Do you still feel something for her? My voice was uncertain. I was scared of his answer, but I had to know. Those words were still lingering in the back of my head. The man winced as if I had hit him. He scratched the back of his head. I should not have said that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I was angry and jealous about you dating someone else. It was an impulse. I was speaking without thinking. I studied him. Are you sure? I would rather you be honest with me now. I'm being honest, he promised. It was just one night really long time ago that I was in a bad shape and Karen, well, she was there, but I swear that nothing happened. I could not be unfaithful to you. I'm sorry for the horrible things I said last night. I was angry. I know that slowly. Okay, I believe you. In a way, I felt relief. I had to trust that he was telling me the truth even if my jealousy wanted to convince me otherwise. Before he could say anything, there was a soft knock on the door. Rebecca, Alexa called. Are you awake? Yeah, what is it? I called as I got out of bed. I was not wearing any clothes, so I tightened the white sheet around me. The man seems amused by my reaction. There was no way I was going to let Alexa see me like this. The thought alone was embarrassing. I knew she was an adult, but she was still my little sister. Oh, just that the campus tour starts in an hour. Are you still coming? Oh yeah, I'll be ready in 20. Okay, I heard her walk away. I forgot about the tour, I murmured to myself as I made my way to the bathroom. The man stood by the bathroom doorway. You know, you could have saved a lot of time if we showered together. I smiled as I turned to the shower. Water came splashing down. Not to mention that it'd be good for water preservation too. I laughed. Water preservation, huh? He grinned. It's an important issue. I let the sheet fall for the floor and then got in the shower. Well, what are you waiting for? I asked, smiling at him. Damian joined me in the shower and we kissed as the water ran over our naked bodies. Then he reached for the shampoo and began to massage it into my hair. You're getting it in my eyes. I laughed as I took a step back into the running water. I rinsed my hair and when I opened my eyes, Damian was looking at me. Damian, I said as he took a step forward. He put his arms around my bare waist and kissed me. I meant to say that we should not because Alexa was waiting and we didn't have time, but it was too late to care about anything when he was kissing me like that. So I didn't say anything at all. Chapter 19. 30 minutes after the shower, Damian and I were finally ready. About time, Alexa said from the couch when she saw me. She had her phone in her hand. Sorry. It was the arm that was casted. Oh, sorry. Yet she still found a way to hold her phone. I like that tap, she complimented before averting her attention back to her phone. I looked down, suddenly forgetting what I had picked. I was wearing a dark green blouse that I had left here with jeans and my slip-on Vans. It felt weird to dress down. I felt younger. I was going to be walking all afternoon, so I wanted to be comfortable. Thanks, I said. Good morning, Damian said to Alexa as he made his way to the kitchen. He, on the other hand, was wearing a black suit. God forbid this man dressed down. Morning, Alexa raised her good hand at me and pointed to her fourth finger ring. She mouthed. I rolled my eyes at her. Shut up, I mouthed back. She burst out laughing, and Damian turned to look at us as she twisted open the cap of a water bottle. What's so funny? I could not look at him without the image of the shower earlier flooding my head. I felt furtive thinking about that with my little sister in the room, so I was glad when Aaron walked in through the front door. Morning, lovebirds, he teased. Oh God, he was not helping. All right, I signed as I reached for my purse. Shall we go? Nice ring, Aaron commented as we walked to the car. Shut up, I said with a smile. The weather was nice outside. The sun was out and it was pleasant now, but I knew it would get hotter the longer we were outside. Aaron put his arm around my shoulder like he used to back when we were in college. Just teasing, Reb. I'm really happy for you, kiddo, he said, ruffling my hair. Aaron, I complained, pushing him away. He laughed while I tried to fix my hair. Damian unlocked the car and we all got in. You are going to love UCLA, Aaron said as Alexa in the back seat. Man, so many good memories in that school. One look at it, and you're going to forget all about the New York fever. I shook my head with a smile as I reached for my phone. I noticed I had a few notifications, some from work, a few texts from Julian. Hey, been trying to reach you. Call me when you can. That was his last text. I started typing something and then deleted it. Everything okay? Damian asked as he dropped. I locked my phone and put it away. Yeah, I said, looking out the window. You're not working today. It had just occurred to me that he was not at work. No, he said. I took the weekend off. Wow, Aaron said. First weekend off in what? 4 years. Damian rolled his eyes at Aaron through the rear view mirror. Not necessary, brother. Oh, did you do it for Rebecca? Alexa asked. Alexa, I shook my head. I did, yes. Damian smiled as he reached for my hand and intertwined his finger through mine on his lap. Goals. How is that goals? Aaron asked Alexa. He's taking time off his job for the first time in 4 years for his wife, who also happened to be my sister. That gives him extra points too. His wife. It's his obligation to spend time with her. It's expected, Aaron argued. Wow, thanks, Aaron, I joked, making the Mians laugh, but they both just ignored me. So, people almost never do the things that are expected of them, so it's nice when they do. Oh God, I murmured, turning to look at Damian. Somehow we have children, Damian joked, making us laugh. We arrived late to the tour, but it was not hard to find a group of people following around a guy walking backwards on the campus. There were about 15 of us, which made it hard to hear the tour guide. We joined the group without saying anything, as if we were afraid of the tour guide calling us out for being late. Don't even know why you got a tour guide, Aaron told Alexa. I could have given you a much better tour. Alexis hissed, amused as she pretended to pay attention to the tour guide. The group was mostly parents with their kids. They were all holding school maps and other papers. I looked around. It felt nice to be back on campus. As Aaron had said, there were so many good memories here. We followed the tour guide around as he kept talking and pointing at buildings. Damian held my hands as we walked. I was really going to miss him. I also didn't like the idea of leaving him alone with Karen. Not because I didn't trust Damian. It was Karen I didn't trust. I could not forget the voice of authority she used when she talked to me the other day about Damian. The tour guide stopped outside a small store on campus to give everyone a break. You want anything? Damian asked me. Water, please. Anything for you, Damian said, winking at me, making me laugh. It was always funny and weird to see him act silly. He smiled before he followed Aaron to the store. So, are you guys back together? Alexa asked as we sat on the bench outside. I turned to look at her. I guess so, yes. It was sort of hard to put a name to it. Getting back together sounded like a teenager praise considering Damian and I were married, but I guess that's what we were doing. We were getting back together. She nodded slowly, but we're na ako, sorry. We're still going back to Nevada, right? I'm happy for you and everything, sis, but I don't want to move a month before school ends. Don't worry, I smiled. We're not moving. I'm gonna wait until after you leave to New York to come back to California. I'll need to quit my job and sell the house in the meantime. Oh, okay, she said, then reached for my hand and squeezed it. I really am happy for you, Rebecca. I'm glad you guys are working things up. Damian is a really good guy and I can tell he really loves you. I smiled, blushing a little. I love him too. I never thank you. I turned to look at her. For calling him, I mean. It was crazy to think that if Alexa would not have called him that day I told him where we were, I would not be getting back together with Damian. What a stubborn and selfish idiot I would have been to let him go. She smiled. You're welcome. I put my arms around her shoulder. I'm gonna miss you when you leave. Promise me you'll be careful. I'm not leaving tomorrow, you know. Still promise me you won't do drugs or sleep around with guys. Promise me you'll respect yourself and your body. OMG, Becca, I swear. She laughed nervously. She looked around to see if anyone was listening to us. I smiled. I know you don't want to talk about this, but we have to. I'm not going to make you promise you'll keep your virginity, but I want you to promise you'll be responsible. Okay, she said, standing up. I promise, just stop talking, please. What's going on? Damian asked as he and Aaron come back from the store. The group was starting to get together again to continue the tour. I stood up and took the water from Damian. Nothing, Alexa said quickly. Why don't we ditch this and go eat somewhere fancy? Sorry. Aaron suggested. Alexa nodded. Yeah, let's go. This school is not that impressive anyway. Aaron took a deep breath as he pretended to be deeply offended. I'll let that one pass. Whatever, Alexa laughed. Let's go, she said, turning around. Aaron and Alexa began to walk in front of us. Damian and I followed. I liked the way Damian looked for my hands to hold it. It was so natural, as if he did it without thinking. It was like we had picked up right after we left off in our marriage. The thing was that the last 3 years had happened and it felt like this was too good to be true. How long you think it take for Alexa arm to heal? I wonder as we walk. Damian shrugged. It depends on how fractured her arm is and how fast her body works to repair it. Normally, it takes around 2 to 3 months. I knew that slowly. I hope it healed by the time she goes to New York. He squeezed my hand. I'm sure it will. I smiled at him. If you say so, doctor. I do say so, Mrs. Walker. He smiled and looked at me as we continued to walk. Tell me about your life in Nevada. There's really not much to do, I admitted. It's just work and taking care of Alexa, not that she needs me as much as she used to. Okay, tell me about this, Julian. I gulped as I looked at him, but he was staring straight ahead. I don't really want to. I want to know, he said slowly. Please. I nibbled on my lower lip as we walked in silence for a moment. We had walked way more than I had thought. Okay, I met him through my coworkers, Ariana. About 3 months ago, in her son's birthday party, he is a mortgage counselor in another bank. He is really nice, and when he asked me out, I just went with it. I didn't really think about what I was doing. Damian was silent for a moment, and it was not serious. No, I said quickly. We've only been on 3 dates for the past 3 months. He has been really respectful and has not even tried to kiss me. I decided not to mention the kiss on the cheeks. They seemed innocent at the time. Now, not so much. Damian looked at me. I could tell he had liked to hear that. You're not just saying that to make me feel better, right? I'm being honest, I said with a smile. He grinned. And you'll talk to him as soon as you get to Nevada. I promise I will. He seems to relax a little. Okay, are you sure you need to go back? I laughed. Yes, I don't want to do that same thing I did when I left California. I need to do things right. He nodded slowly. I'll try to visit you. I smiled up at him. That'd be nice. We had stopped walking by then. We had reached the parking too. Damian leaned down and put his lips against mine. Gross. Can you guys not? Aaron called out from the car, making us laugh. And just for saying that, Damian said before deepening the kiss. So, hanggang doon muna guys. Pahinga muna ako. And, sa susunod po pala na title. Sorry. Hey, hintay-hintay lang po. Kasi binubun joke lang. And thank you for watching na lang. At thank you rin sa iyo, Miss Ganda. And good night.